heard about his policy points from both sides. I think those are really prudent considerations. But I think there's something else we need to think of as well. And before I speak, I'll give two apologies. First is that I was outside in the weather all day, so if I'm red or looking weird, I'm only dressing up so much, so I apologize for that. And the second is that if I don't say exactly what I mean to say, I'm not a politician myself, I'm not a lecturer, I'm not anything like that. So I'm just trying to speak from the heart up here and capture something else. Like I said, we have somebody else speaking for Ron DeSantis, maybe nobody else for the other candidates on the stage. But I think we all know that publicly and broadly in the country, Donald Trump is the people that most people are going to vote for. If you look at polls, they all say that. And in fact, the other candidates, Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis, they say something similar. They say that they're the second best candidate. That because Trump comes with all of that baggage, that they are the people we should vote for instead. I saw that in person myself. I met with Ron DeSantis when he came to Algona. Some of you might have been there as well. But that crowd was smaller than the crowd that we have here today. And he had staffers out on the street trying to get people to come in to fill out that crowd. Nikki Haley can't even boast that. Her crowd is like a single executive from Lockheed Martin writing her checks and no actual people. Donald Trump has thousands of people at every single one of his rallies. They wait for hours to get inside, and if they can't get inside, then they'll look at the jumbotrons outside. And when he looks at his checks, they're in small dollar amounts written by people just like you, just like me, with their hard-earned money. Choosing the second best is not something that we can afford to do. Not when we look at what's happening in our country right now. Not when they're attempting to castrate our children. When they're attempting to tear down the statues of our fathers. When they're attempting to fundamentally change what this country is and who it's comprised of. When that is the stakes, when that is what we're up against, we can't settle for the second best. Because if we do, we are allowing those establishment elements to tell us who we can vote for, who it's okay to elect. We're giving in to interest groups that don't reflect what we want, and we're letting them tell us, hey, it's too hard. Why don't you guys give up that fight? Why don't you just vote for one of these other candidates? Because we are going to come after Trump. I think there's two lies there, and it goes two ways. The first is this lie we tell ourselves, that if we just elect somebody else, we remove Donald Trump from the picture, that they won't do all of those corrupt actions that they're currently doing against Trump. They won't weaponize the courts of our land. They won't attack him and his personal finances. They won't disrupt his family. They won't have agencies of the federal government acting against him behind the scenes. But I think that's a lie. They let these other candidates come to the forefront right now because they detract from Donald Trump. But as soon as Donald Trump's out of the picture, they're going to do the exact same thing to Ron DeSantis. And if it's another candidate who they don't do that to, then we should be asking ourselves, why are they not doing it to that candidate? Why are they going to let that other candidate win? And there's one reason. That's because the establishment knows that that candidate is somebody they can control. That Donald Trump is the person they fear. Because the one guy, because he's uncouth, because he says those things that he probably shouldn't be saying in the Midwest, uses languages that I want to use around kids, and he's done some things in the past that I wouldn't do to my family. Yet despite that, what he says is what he means. And if you listen to a Donald Trump speech, you know that's the case. So when all of those actors, when the corrupt establishment, when corporations that don't have our best interest in mind, when the media, the most rotten of industries we have in this country, is manipulating the truth against Trump, we should be asking ourselves, why are they so scared of him? And when I hear all those things, I say, well, that's the person that I want to vote for. So as we think about this today, I just say that we have a lot at stake here. This election is not just about who's going to be the candidate or who's going to lead our country for the next 4 years. This is fundamentally about the future of what it means to be American, and the fact that we must secure a future for our children in the type of country that we grew up in and we long to be in. Because we represent some of the last generations who knew what it was like before, who had hopes about what this place could be. And if we push that down the road and we make that our children's problems, our grandchildren's problems, it's going to be insurmountable. This is one last chance to stand up. And so I will vote for Donald Trump, regardless of what this assembly decides. I'll write it in on the side of the ballot. And if they arrest Donald Trump, if they turn the courts against him, if they kick him off the ballots in these other countries, and they attempt to undermine the fundamental systems of our democracy, then I will meet them in the street. I will not allow them to subjugate this country, to destroy 300 years of what we built, or tell me who I can vote for, making me power down and accept the second choice. Thank you.